When I was 12, my parents decided we'd spend the summer at my aunt's old farmhouse. It was one of those creaky, isolated places out in the middle of nowhere. My dad loved the idea of getting away from the city for a while, and my mom, well, she thought it would be character building. But I hated it from the moment we arrived. The house was dark, musty, and filled with the sort of antique furniture that made you feel like someone was always watching. It wasn't long before I noticed them, the spiders. They were everywhere. At first, it was just the occasional one in the corner, the type you could squash with a tissue. But then, I started seeing bigger ones, much bigger. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, I stayed up reading by the dim light of my flashlight. I had this bad habit of staying awake late and getting in trouble for it, but that night, something felt off. The room was unusually still, as if even the wind outside had stopped. I heard it first, a faint scuttling sound coming from under my bed. My heart began to race, but I tried to shake it off as the usual creaks of an old house. But then the noise grew louder. I shined my flashlight down toward the floor, and that's when I saw it. A spider the size of my hand crawled out from beneath my bed. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. I'd never seen a spider that big in real life. Its body was thick, legs long and hairy. For a moment, I couldn't move. It just sat there on the edge of the rug, as if daring me to make a sound. After what felt like forever, I jumped up, slammed my book closed, and scrambled out of the room, slamming the door behind me. I told myself it was just one freakishly large spider, and once I got some sleep, it would be gone. But the next morning, it wasn't gone. In fact, when I cautiously crept back into my room, there were more of them. Not as big as the one from the night before, but dozens of smaller spiders, weaving webs along the corners, near the windows, even inside my shoes. I freaked out, and my dad helped clear them away, telling me I was overreacting. That night, I slept with the door closed, but I didn't sleep well. I kept waking up, feeling like something was crawling on me, but when I turned on the light, nothing was there. On the third night, things got worse. I woke up in the middle of the night, my skin itching. At first, I thought it was just sweat. Summer nights in that house were unbearably hot, but the itching spread, moving up my arms and across my chest. Groggy, I turned on the flashlight, and what I saw made my stomach turn. There were spiders crawling on me, tiny ones, dozens of them, moving over my arms, my legs, everywhere. I screamed and bolted out of bed, swiping at them frantically, but they didn't stop. They were on my skin, in my hair, crawling up my neck. I ran to the bathroom and slammed the door shut, trying to pull them off, but it was like they were everywhere. By the time I finally managed to get them off, my skin was red and raw from scratching. I told my parents what happened, but they didn't believe me. They thought I was dreaming or imagining things, and maybe I was, but it felt too real. The worst part? They weren't on the bed when we went back to check. It was like they had just disappeared. I tried to avoid my room after that. I slept on the couch, but even that wasn't safe. One morning, I woke up to find a thick web strung across the living room window, and nestled in the center was another giant spider, its legs stretched out like it owned the place. I don't know how many more there were. I stopped looking after that. By the time we left the farmhouse, I wasn't sleeping at all. The constant feeling of something crawling on my skin followed me everywhere. Even when we got home, the sensation didn't go away. My mom said it was stress, that I'd worked myself up into a frenzy, but to this day, I'm not so sure. Now, years later, I still can't sleep without checking my room first, behind the curtains, under the bed, in every corner. Sometimes, I swear, I can still hear the faint scuttling of legs moving in the dark. And every now and then, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel it, the soft tickle of something crawling across my skin. But when I turn on the light, there's never anything there.